What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. So we have a bit of a combo today. We have a horror news update that we're going to cover off for this particular topic, film and article, but we also are going to watch the trailer for this particular film. I have not seen it. It looks interesting based on just the headline itself, so I am highly intrigued thus far. Now, I hope I'm not disappointed. I did go check to see if this film was already available on Shudder, because it does say Shudder just released. So it is in fact on Shudder. I've already added it to my queue. I'm going to try and watch it hopefully sometime this weekend or sometime this week and report back. But it just did get uploaded, I'd say, within the past 2 or 3 days. So like we would normally do, we would jump into the article, read it, and then jump over to the trailer. But this one's going to be, I think the article on this one's going to be a little bit more lengthy because initially I don't think this article had the trailer in it. I went and found the trailer that coincided with the release onto Shudder. So this article might be a little bit longer, but I will just try to cherry pick over the important pieces of information so we can then just get right to the trailer. So let's get into it. Shudder just released a masterful body horror movie that a film festival voted its scariest feature. Now that in itself, again, you already have me intrigued. If you're gonna claim that, or if someone's gonna give you that title, then I'm interested to see in fact how scary the film is supposed to be. And it's a body horror, so this can go many different directions. We've seen an influx in body horror films since I want to say last year, November, December last year, going into this year. I mean, we all have seen The Substance. That has some pretty crazy scenes in it. But I am interested to see this because The Substance wasn't deemed scariest feature at a particular film festival, and this one is. So let's jump into the article details here. What is the cost of being happy today? This seemingly simple question has many layers, from clothing purchases, funding toxic sweatshops, to every cup of coffee endorsing harmful harvesting practices. People are constantly discovering that even the smallest sources of joy are often accompanied by great sadness being inflicted upon others. This can not only make it hard to be happy, but render many kinds of comfort inherently unethical, a moral dilemma that is portrayed to disturbing perfection. I'm not even sure how to pronounce some of these names, so I'm not going to try. So I'll just kind of skip over the names. Perfection in the film Best Wishes to All. Streaming on Shudder, it follows a young woman as she visits her strange grandparents and learns about their grisly happiness ritual. The film is not only a masterclass in fusing different types of horror, but it's also a pignant dissection of what true joy looks like in the modern world. It thoroughly unnerves watchers, not just with the horrors on display, but also by confronting them with how easy it is to ignore the suffering of others, especially when that ignorance makes it so much easier to be happy themselves. All right, so that's quite the synopsis of where we're going with this film. Again, I'm still intrigued, but this is I'm not even sure really what to expect with my expectations on this one. Let's continue. It's a mind-bending, thought-provoking kind of scary movie, and it's no wonder that it won scariest feature at the legendary Overlook Film Festival. All right, so let's keep going a bit more. So we do have the trailer. This is the trailer we're going to watch. So you're not ready for the psychological and body horror of Best Wishes to All. Okay, so you all know I do love a good psychological film. So this, and it did mention up above, it was going to be mixing some various horror topics, genres together. So we're getting psychological and body horror, which really do go hand in hand, in my opinion. Few films manage to be as endlessly unnerving as Best Wishes to All. All right, so it looks like we have more of a synopsis here. Following a young nurse in training, the characters are never given names. As she goes to visit her grandparents, the movie immediately starts with a sense of dread that only grows throughout its hour-and-a-half runtime. Uneased by her grandparents' creepy behavior and the closed doors she swears she can hear noises coming from, our protagonist eventually learns the truth. Their family, as well as every other in their community, keeps a tortured prisoner locked up in their house. They believe that the happiness is a finite resource, and that only by keeping a person in constant torture can they maintain the endless happiness or our main character was lucky to grow up in. Okay, so I think this is going to be a very... So we're not obviously watching the film, we're watching the trailer. I'm not sure how deep this trailer is going to go based on what we've just read as the description, but I imagine this film is going to be... So far, I can see it probably being one of the more... I don't want to say scary as in jump scare, scary as in what humans... I don't want to say willing to do, but will do to achieve what is being described in the synopsis. And in this case, they're calling it a happiness ritual. All right, so let's continue a little bit more. I don't want if this continues more into the synopsis, I'm going to skip over that because I don't want to read too much of the synopsis where it just kind of ruins the film. We've talked about that before, where marketing tends to put out a lot of information about a movie and then it just pretty much spoils the movie. So I don't want to do that. Best wishes to all receive the Scariest Feature Award at the Overlook Film Festival, an annual honoring of the best projects this genre has to offer. And anyone who's seen the film can clearly see why the early reveal of this happiness ritual only escalates the psychological fear our main character and the audience had already been enduring. The film's creepiness starts off in... Okay, so we do start to go down the synopsis a little bit more. We're skipping that. It's established a psychological baseline, getting viewers accustomed to the type of fear before overwhelming them with sickeningly effective body horror. I see we're going back into the synopsis again. I'm skipping over it. I will put the link for this article in the description of the video if you all want to go back and read this in more detail. I just don't want the trailer to be fully spoiled by everything that's being described. Best wishes to all shows the cost of happiness. I'm scanning this real quickly here. This does kind of touch on it a little bit more. Gonna skip it. Skipping it. Best wishes to all manages to bring hope amidst the horror. Skipping it. So that's the end of the article. Again, the reason I'm skipping all that is because I don't, again, want it to get too much information where the trailer and the film is spoiled, where it's like, well, I just pretty much read the entire movie, right? So we got the synopsis of the film. We have a good idea of what this film is supposed to be about and what avenue or what direction they're going. So that's why I'm not going to read through all this, right? So let's just get back to the top of the article. Again, we have a synopsis. We have a good idea what this film is going to be about, why it was tagged Scariest Feature at that film festival. So let's jump over to the trailer and see what this one is. Let's see if this is going to be as scary as they are claiming.
ごめんね。私たち年寄りのために若い人たちが犠牲になって。え？おじいちゃん。上がって上がって。今は幸せ？あんたみたいな子がおると迷惑ないよね。迷惑？何してんの？誰か止めてよ。止めて！この人のおかげで私たちの幸せが成り立ってるの。え？
誰かを救いたい的な。ごめん。じゃあ俺のことも救ってくれよ。
本当にあなたのことを思ってるの。
地球上の幸せには限りがあるの。
子供は子供らしく子供を演じてればいいのよ。
逃げたって無駄よ。
どこの世界も同じなんだから。
何幸せそうな顔してんの。
Okay, so I'm not sure if I would say scariest. I would say disturbing. There were some definite disturbing scenes in that trailer, and typically in a trailer, and I did a timestamp on this as I normally do. It was only a minute and a half, so it wasn't that long of a trailer. But some of those scenes, yeah, very disturbing. I mean, we saw the individual that they have captured. I guess we'll call it. We'll go about it that way. Crawling behind them in the hallway, probably trying to escape in some way, while they're sitting there for a meal. We also saw one scene, which if you are people who are squeamish when it comes to like their eyes, like touching your eye, things getting in your eye. I don't know if you saw it, but the main young actress that we see there was a scene where she is taking a sewing needle, pulling her top eyelid and pushing it up. I don't know if that was the beginning stages of her sewing her eyes shut, because it was completely bloodshot. And we did see that the individual they have captured, his eyes were sewn shut, his mouth was sewn shut. There was a point where I'm not sure if it was the same individual or if this was a second individual, because we saw them pushing or kicking somebody down a hill, setting them on fire. We saw a young child whose eyes were completely removed with like tissue or cloth shoved inside of them, just to, I'm sure, control the bleeding. Yeah, this one was, I'm skipping through. That's why I'm looking over to my side here on some of the other scenes, because I'm thinking there's more than one that we're going to see captured here, because we then all... And I'm wondering if the young girl does something to her family or grandparents, because there was one scene where she's sitting in the woods while it's raining and her face is covered with blood. And I don't know, that scene, as far as the order of the trailer, seems out of place. That I'm wondering if that's something that happens towards the end of the film. But yeah, this one was actually, this was trailer. I'm going on another timestamp check. Actually, it was less than, it was only a minute 10 seconds. So again, I wouldn't say scariest. I would definitely say disturbing. There was definitely some disturbing scenes in this. Now, you may have also noticed this is subtitled. So I'm pulling up Shudder right now. I don't know if this one is going to have an English dub over. It does not look like it does. So I'm looking at Shudder right now. It just has, it's in Japanese, and you can't change any subtitles or audio. So if you're not a subtitle person when it comes to films, you'll probably already checked out. You're not going to watch it. I would say though, give it a try. I mean, obviously, if you like horror films, I think it's always good to broaden your horizon, even into films that are subtitled, because we've covered some really good films. I remember we did a couple Indonesian films that were subtitled, which were really good. We did reviews on those. So don't completely disregard the film just because it's subtitled. Still give it a chance, especially if you're into body horror, that subgenre. This one does look like it. Again, I'll say it one more time, not scary, but very disturbing. And I can see the psychological aspect, especially on the granddaughter, where the story is focusing on. So yeah, it's already available on Shudder. I'm going to check it out. Looking at the reviews, just scanning them, some are giving it 5 out of 5, but there are some 1 out of 1s. People are just pretty much just saying nonsense. I mean, this is what they're literally saying. This was nonsense, not good, just another case of all style, no substance, so on and so forth. But I think it's very subjective. I think film, TV series are always subjective, right? So not everyone's gonna like it. So anyways, that's going to do it for this horror news / trailer review for the film Best Wishes to All, currently streaming on Shudder, deemed a body horror psychological film. I'll be checking it out hopefully this week and come back in the next week or so, just give people enough time, because they did just upload this onto Shudder in the past couple of days. So many people may not even be aware of this one or have had time to check it out yet. So be on the lookout for a movie review on this one. So drop a comment in the comment section. Let me know what you think about this. I'll also be interested to know if a film is subtitled. Do you just skip over it altogether, or do you give it an opportunity to win you over as far as the film itself? I would like to know. And if you haven't done so already, please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Otherwise, we'll see you at the next one. Later.